happens when one of the most famous dunkers of all time goes to the greatest lobster fest of all time.
I make Red Lobster famous.
No, Blake, dunking happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Create your own lobster lover's dream with 2 or 3 choices on one plate at Red Lobster.
I'm Austin Jackson, and my team is proud to be the official injury lawyers of the Augusta Green Jackets. The Augusta Guy, supporting Augusta's team and all those who call the CSRA home.
Trust meteorologist Mikkel Hannah Harding for your first alert.
At Parker's Kitchen, we go big. Our catfish sandwich. It's huge, bigger than the bun, with an extra large serving of Parker's signature sauce. At Parker's Kitchen.
To weather now, dry conditions, dangerously dry conditions.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of smoke in the air out there today, Riley.
Definitely so, guys. We've had a number of controlled burns across the area, so if you have smelled smoke today, likely from some of those burns ongoing, but there is still an elevated fire risk across most of our Georgia counties. The reason is we still have very dry fuel on the ground, and the air is very dry as well. But we did get an update on the drought monitor this morning. Doesn't really show much change. Still just very abnormally dry and moderate drought hanging on up towards the lake. But you can see where we are tracking just a few of these controlled burns going on across the region. So wind direction generally out the east and pushing a lot of this smoke towards the west. So we were seeing a big fire at Fort Eisenhower today, around 600 acres. So that was pushing a lot of smoke into McDuffie and Warren County, all thanks to high pressure centered towards our northeast. For this afternoon, we are getting temperatures close to 80 degrees. Right now, we've been as high as 79 so far in Augusta. So it is warm out there, but right near our normal high temperature for this time of year. Great night for baseball. If you're heading out to SRP Park tonight, they got a 7:05 first pitch. Thursday against the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. Should be nice out there. First pitch temps in the mid-70s and will drop towards the upper 50s towards the end of game time. So a little bit cool out there, but not bad. Now tonight is our first 8 p.m. sunset of the year. Sunsets will gradually get later and later until we get to June 22nd. That's when they'll max out just before 8:45. The next time we'll have a sunset prior to 8 p.m. will not be until the end of August. So we got a good long while before we see those again. Update on the weekend for you and some storm chances next week in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. Traffic is back moving on I-20 going towards the state line after reports of an electric vehicle fire. Now you're getting a view of the backup from our Sky 12 drone. This was just a few hours ago. Officials tell us the fire was first reported about an hour before at 2:15. Augusta fire crews were on the scene assisting North Augusta, but again, traffic is back and moving. Well, millions of dollars owed and an Augusta official on paid administrative leave. Now city leaders are asking questions.
A lot of questions. The city says Augusta Housing and Community Development Director Hawthorne Welcher was supposed to use the $6 million to help people pay rent.
Now we're showing you video of Welcher back in 2023. He was placed on paid administrative leave after Augusta Commission members say they had to repay the federal government more than $6 million.
In addition to that $6.3 million, the city says it was also charged nearly $43,000 in interest. City leaders say the federal government sent them a letter demanding the funds after they missed that 2022 deadline. Moving forward, the city has put out bids for an audit of his department to see where that money went and if it was used for the city at all.
And we reached out to Welcher for comment. He has not yet responded. Coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. 12 on your side investigates how we got to this point. Well, from a football jersey to a jail jumpsuit, a former defensive lineman at Newberry College wrongfully accused of murder. Now a lawsuit demands justice for Tyran Dixon. As reporter Cynthia Beasley explains, his life has changed forever.
Tyran Dixon is still trying to make sense of it all. A defensive lineman at Newberry College, he graduated with a master's degree. Then he spent time at the NFL Academy and played professional football at the XFL and in Europe. After finishing his first season abroad in September, he headed home to see his family in Columbia. But when he got off his connecting flight in Boston, he says Massachusetts State Police took him into custody, and he had no idea why.
I've never been arrested, never had any issue with law enforcement, so I didn't know what was going on. They didn't never tell me what the warrant was for.
It wasn't until the next day when he appeared in a Boston courtroom he heard why he was going to jail.
The judge, she denied the bond and said that, it was a murder and attempted murder charge.
Where did your mind go in that
I
moment?
was definitely terrified. Obviously, I know I was innocent, but you know, with these type of things, you don't know what's going on.
Less than a year before this, on October 15th, 2023, investigators say 6 people were hurt in a mass shooting in Barnwell County. 21-year-old Jasmine Roach was killed. Her family says she was 4 months pregnant.
You've never even been to Barnwell County.
Never heard of it.
Dixon says he signed a waiver of extradition, thinking he would be taken back to South Carolina immediately.
That didn't happen.
The lawsuit says Dixon was taken to a detention center and then a jail in Boston before he was transferred to another detention center in Rhode Island, where he was put in solitary confinement for 3 weeks.
They're like, well, you can't be in general population because you've been deemed a celebrity status in here. Because you were in the NFL draft and we seen your profile online.
After 21 days, Dixon says he was taken to a jail in Oklahoma, then a detention center in Georgia. Dixon says it was his family, God, and the hope that he would play football again that got him through his time behind bars. 67 days after he was first handcuffed,
I'm praying, you know, like, God, just get me out of these chains.
Dixon says he was taken to Barnwell County for the first time in his life.
He has the handcuff key and he's a bit shaky or whatever, like trying to take it off, and he's like, look, we got the wrong person. I'm sorry. And that's basically it. So he unlocked my chains.
On December 6, 2024, Dixon says he was finally free and was not charged with murder. About 3 weeks later, the Barnwell County Sheriff's Office announced they arrested someone else for Jasmine Roach's murder, Tyren Dixon. A 3-letter difference that landed an innocent man behind bars.
His name's not even spelled like mine. He looks nothing like me. Second of all, he's 180 pounds. I'm 300 pounds.
Not once have we seen where Barnwell County actually presented a picture of Tyren Dixon to any person that was a witness to this tragic murder.
Robert Goings and Joe McCullough are representing Dixon in a lawsuit against the Barnwell County Sheriff, Stephen Griffith, and his office.
His mother was pleading to law enforcement, to the sheriff of Barnwell County, you have the wrong person.
While Dixon was locked up, his mother says she drove from Columbia to the Barnwell County Sheriff's Office with evidence that would have cleared her son.
Just make sure he has a solid alibi. That's all they kept saying.
She says she had proof her son was at the Newberry College homecoming game at the time of the murder.
They would not look at it. He didn't want to hear nothing. They didn't want to see nothing, no nothing. You maliciously took 67, 69 days of my child's life.
Dixon is now doing what he can to keep this from happening to anyone else by speaking to groups like this criminal law class at the University of South Carolina.
We hope to have him speak and present to police departments. They, of all people, need to understand the consequences of doing their job poorly.
They didn't even have any evidence, you know what I'm saying, of me doing anything, and I still got locked up. And even when they did know that I wasn't around when that murder happened, I still didn't get out. Like, there was nothing that I could do with my power to open up the door.
12 on Your Side contacted Dixon's attorneys today. They tell us that Dixon wasn't even given a bond hearing. They also tell us that they want answers, accountability, and awareness about this case. We reached out to the Barnwell County Sheriff's Office and county attorney, but have not heard back yet.
Within the last few hours, we've learned Columbia County officials are in talks to bring a new data center to the area. That planned project would be located at White Oak Industrial Park. That's off of Morris Callaway Road and Innovation Parkway. The industrial park is proposed to bring world-class technology businesses and data center development. We're working to learn more about this project.
Relief will soon come for Georgia business owners on unfair lawsuits. On Monday, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is expected or did sign a historic tort reform. It would make it harder to sue businesses for incidents that happen on their property. Under the legislation, businesses would have to have prior knowledge of a safety issue or a wrongdoing by an employee in order to be sued. This comes as small business owners in the state say they're frustrated with constantly having to pay huge settlements over lawsuits they claim they're not responsible for.
Nearly 2 months after local constituents protested at Representative Rick Allen's office, the congressman is announcing...
Well, luckily we do look dry heading into Easter weekend, but temperatures are going to be borderline hot over the next couple of afternoons. More on that and our storm chances next week, just after the break.
Time and temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
George Sink entry lawyer.
Easter is just 3 days away, and there are several events you and your family can attend to celebrate. Starting tomorrow, Columbia County is hosting its third annual extra special Easter event. That's from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Market Street in Evans. Then on Saturday, the CSRA RISA is hosting an Easter event. That's from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at its building in Deering.
Also on Saturday, the Warren Community Center will host the Easter egg hunt from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the Salvation Army Kroc Center will host its Easter egg extravaganza from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Riley, a lot going on this weekend. How are we looking weather-wise?
Looking great weather-wise. We are going to keep things nice and warm and dry. That is the good news. No rain in the forecast through our Easter weekend, so looking good for all our Easter egg hunts going on across the region. Looking good for the Green Jackets as well. They're in town again tonight, lasting into the weekend. Live look over SRP Park. You can see the Pelicans getting in some BP and just a little bit of practice before that 7:05 first pitch. Temperatures are close to 80 right now, so it is warm out there and going to be a nice warm evening. We're not expecting temperatures to really start getting into the 50s until we most likely get closer to midnight tonight. So a mild evening on tap. Once again, first pitch at 7:05. We should still be most likely mid-70s around that time frame. Going to hang on to clear skies and just a little bit cooler out there towards the end of game time. Most likely near 59 by around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Overnight tonight, we're going to eventually drop to near 50 degrees by daybreak tomorrow morning. So not quite as cool as what we've been the past couple of days. And that warming trend is going to continue over the next couple of afternoons as well. Actually, for tomorrow, we're expecting temperatures to most likely hit the mid-80s, so even warmer than what we're currently seeing this afternoon. Just a little bit of a cool start, waking up near 50, but you can see those temperatures climbing quickly throughout the day tomorrow. It's all going to be thanks to a lot of sunshine out there. Heading into Easter Sunday, looking great for any Easter egg hunts going on. We got high temperatures Sunday afternoon hitting the upper 80s. We are going to keep things nice and dry. Maybe a few passing clouds at times, but luckily no rain with those clouds we're expecting out there tomorrow. Now take a look at our jet stream pattern. This is what's going to bring us the heat. So we have an upper level ridge that's going to build over the southeast. You can see 80s found for us here in Augusta, Atlanta, all the way to the Gulf Coast. This will continue through the weekend. As we head into next week, that ridge will start to break down, and then we'll start to see more of a troughing, start to dig into the southeast U.S. So that's going to help drive up our rain chances a little bit more. But at the moment, not necessarily expecting widespread rain by any means heading into the middle of next week. Just about a 30% chance right now next Tuesday, and that will likely continue about 30% for Wednesday and Thursday next week. As far as our rain totals go, looking pretty minimal. So that's the thing. Even though we may bring back some lower rain chances by the middle of next week, doesn't necessarily look like it's going to amount to a whole lot. Let's take a look at one of our long-range models here. So for Easter Sunday, this is by the afternoon, a little bit of some cloud cover. So it is going to be more cloudy than sunny by Sunday afternoon, but luckily it does look dry. The front's going to be a little bit closer to us by Monday, but I would expect most of the rain stays well off towards our west through at least Monday afternoon. Once we get into Tuesday, late into the day, I would imagine maybe there's a chance for a hit or miss shower, possible thunderstorm, and that will be our general pattern as we head into Wednesday and Thursday next week. So the possibility is definitely going to be there for maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm next week, but nothing that really looks to be a huge impact all day long. There's the rest of your 7-day forecast. Hot temps heading into Easter Sunday, and as we head into next week, those temperatures not cooling down, going to stay well above average.
Thanks, Riley. Nearly 7 months later, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is still hard at work at Strom-Thurmond Lake in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. They shared these photos with us today. The Thurmond project team has since reopened 2 day-use areas, 17 boat ramps, 19 hunter access areas, and prepared a 20-acre debris site to support removal. That's thanks to the funding from the Savannah District's operations and maintenance. 7 months later, still getting to cleaning up.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time
It
before
is.
we're completely back to normal. Some places will never look the same. Our military community celebrating the families of those who lay their lives on the line. Coming up, we show you how Freedom Park celebrated Purple Up Day.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group. Don't wait.
More than healthcare, people care.
Freedom Park School held a ceremony today in honor of military families. Take a listen. That was Plus, the violin sounding off as students put bow to strings today. The school held a ceremony in honor of Purple Up Day. It's usually recognized on the 15th of April each year during the month of the military child. The month-long event pays homage to military students and families as they uproot their lives in the fight for ours.
So Purple Up is a day to celebrate our military students and their how brave they are, how courageous, and their resiliency as they travel, as they relocate to different locations, as their parents are deployed in different things.
A service member's service is their family's sacrifice. Coming up all new at 5:30. She talks about the military flagship school award they received and how it impacts students.
Well, today, some veterans in our area are proving that nothing is holding them back. This is Limb Loss Awareness Month, and the Augusta VA is highlighting everything that affected veterans in our area can do with their abilities. Today, they held a support group for vets and their family members affected by limb loss. For the VA, events like this are about improving the quality of life for our veterans.
Hopefully, after their amputation, quite often they're trying to survive, but we want to help them thrive. And so through events like our amputee support group, which meets monthly, as well as our adaptive sports that we offer. We'll have cycling later this month, and also our adaptive climbing wall. We'll have that event. And this is time for the veterans to gather and just kind of feed off of each other, to empower each other, no matter where they are in their rehab process.
And next week, as part of this month's event, some veterans will take place in that adaptive climbing wall. Yes, you heard that right. I'd love to see that. That'd be so cool. And climb the climbing wall. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that they would do that.
It's so cool. I've been out to some adaptive golf clinics. It really is amazing what all of these veterans can do.
And then they, of course, do the adapted cycling as well, which is pretty cool, Riley.
Definitely so. Love to see them getting out and still doing a lot of those great activities. Heading out the door early tomorrow morning. If you're going to be up near sunrise, temps will bottom out close to 50 tomorrow morning, so not as chilly for us. Have a look at that hot 7-day forecast just after the break.
Tell me something about your partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Wrdw is a local favorite for a good cause. It's one of the Boys and Girls Club of the Great Augusta's annual fundraisers, rounding up chefs from the area's best restaurants.
Yes, and the event invites chefs to prepare their own specialty burgers as they compete to be named Burger Battle Champion.
And the winner is Midtown Tavern!
Hey, I'm McGuire Welsh from Midtown Tavern, reigning Burger Battle Champions. If you want to take our belt, you better bring it on April 28th.
If one of these bad boys crashes into you, their insurance company is going to try to settle with you quickly, but for a lot less. I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and this is my outstanding team.
Hi.
We're known for moving pretty quickly ourselves. Getting your money fast is crucial for your recovery, so we go for the maximum settlement possible. Faster. How fast, you ask? One call, that's all.
Watch it go! Call10.com.
It's payback time.
This is the one.
Let me handle this.
But I wonder if the other store has it cheaper.
We'll beat any competitor price by 10%.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It sounds a little too good to be true. Can I speak to a manager? Can I talk to the owner?
Also me. We're employee owned.
We'll take it.
Oh. It happens all the time.
Break up with your big box store today.
Listen up, everyone. We're right.
Welcome back. It is a beautiful afternoon. A live look over Clarks Hill Lake. A little bit calmer afternoon out there today. Not much of a chop whatsoever. Winds are less than 10 miles an hour and have been that way most of today. Heading into tomorrow, we're expecting a little bit more of a wind out of the south. I would say between 7 and 11 miles an hour. That south wind's going to help us warm up to the mid-80s tomorrow. Upper 80s, most likely close to 90 by Saturday afternoon. Just a little bit of cloud cover starts to move in by Sunday, but luckily staying nice and dry for any Easter plans that you may have. Next week, we do bring back some isolated thunderstorm chances. That's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, evening. Most of those days do look dry, but it will remain hot.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have much more news and weather coming up after a short break.
The weather. It's something that affects us all every day. From sunny to severe and anything in between. This is why we First Alert.
If you haven't...
It's about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. Nearly 24 weapons and multiple other contraband items confiscated during an extensive search at the Charles B. Webster Detention Center this afternoon.
Your Sydney Hood was at the briefing moments after the search concluded. She explains these types of searches are not uncommon for the jail. Sydney.
Right, and leaders say the jail is designed to hold about 1,000 inmates, but currently they say there are about 1,300 inmates inside. Deputies say they do these searches weekly, but today's surprise search highlighted some of the challenges they say they've been facing for years. Now, I want to show you some new photos the sheriff's office shared with us just within the last hour. In just one operation, 20 shanks, 2 tattoo kits, and an assortment of drugs found inside multiple pods. Deputies say in the past it was not uncommon to find 20 to 30 shanks inside one pod. So they say today's numbers show improvement, but they are still continuing with these searches to drop the numbers.
Every single person that's in there, we're obligated to keep them safe. And we have an obligation to the community and their loved ones that are in the jail. So anytime that we see fit, we're going to continue to search and try to find as much contraband as we can out and to remove it from the jail.
Uncovering inmate contraband and tackling an overpopulated jail. Coming up, all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, what Richmond County deputies are doing about it moving forward.
And we know that renovations are much needed to the Charles B. Webster Detention Center. It's something we've stayed on top of for quite some time now.
Yeah, and the contraband issue, a major problem. Good to see, though, that the numbers and what they confiscated is a lot less than what they expected. Thanks, Sydney. Millions of dollars owed puts an Augusta official on paid leave and the city of Augusta in debt. We're showing you video of Hawthorne Welcher from back in 2023. He was placed on leave after Augusta Commission members say they had to repay the federal government more than $6 million. Now, in addition to that $6.3 million, the city says it was also charged nearly $43,000 in interest. City leaders say the federal government sent them a letter demanding the funds after they missed the 2022 deadline. Moving forward, the city has put out bids for an audit of his department to see where that money went and if it was even used for the city at all. Now, we have reached out to Welcher for comment. He has not responded yet. Coming up, all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, 12 on your side investigates how we got to this point.
And tonight we're learning Columbia County officials are in talks to bring a new data center to the area. The planned project would be located at White Oak Industrial Park. That's off of Morris Callaway Road and Innovation Parkway. The industrial park is proposed to bring world-class technology businesses in data center development. We are working to learn more details about this project.
Nearly 2 months after local constituents protested at Representative Rick Allen's office, the
Easter plans heading into this weekend. Next week, we do bring back some isolated storm chances. More on that coming up just after the break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
Sounds good. Thanks for the heads up, Riley. Freedom Park School held a ceremony today in honor of military families. Take a listen. Young musicians sounding off as students put bow to strings today. The school held a ceremony in honor of Purple Up Day. It's usually recognized on the 15th of April each year during the month of the military child. This month-long event pays homage to military students and their families as they uproot their lives so they can fight for ours. We spoke to the principal at Freedom Park about the flagship award they just received and how it supports students during difficult transitions.
And our school received that award for the different clubs and different things that we have for our students when they transition to our school, as well as the supports and services that we provide for them while they're here with us.
And if you're wondering why the color purple, well, here's why. All the service colors of the U.S. Armed Forces together makes purple, so it signifies unity.
And today, some veterans in our area are proving that nothing is holding them back. This is Limb Loss Awareness Month, and the Augusta VA is highlighting everything that affected veterans in our area can do with their abilities. Today, they held a support group for vets and their family members affected by limb loss. For the VA, events like this are all about improving the quality of life for our veterans.
Hopefully after their amputation. Quite often they're trying to survive, but we want to help them thrive. And so through events like our amputee support group, which meets monthly, as well as our adaptive sports that we offer. We'll have cycling later this month, and also our adaptive climbing wall. We'll have that event. And this is time for the veterans to gather and just kind of feed off of each other, to empower each other, no matter where they are in their rehab process.
And next week, as part of this month's events, some veterans will take place in that adaptive climbing wall that Melody mentioned, as well as adaptive cycling.
Coming up in sports, new beginnings are here for Aiken women's basketball. We'll take you inside their latest hire next.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
The most significant loss of
7 Flowing Wells Road. Don't miss it.
The Aiken Pacers women's basketball program hasn't had a new coach since 2016. Now, almost a decade later, they're bringing in fresh decision-making. Alyssa.
Yeah, basketball is no joke around here, no matter the gender. Yeah, you're talking about a program that has only had 4 winning seasons in the last decade. A new head coach is hoping to change those odds. Aiken has hired Brittany Bass. She is the 8th coach to lead the Lady Pacers. She comes in from Gannon, a former player for the Golden Knights. She had a record of 160 wins, 22 losses as an assistant coach, going to 4 Division II tournaments, leading the Golden Knights to a pair of Elite 8 appearances. She's been there before, now getting the Pacers on the right track.
I think they're really excited. Every time I see them, they got a smile on their face. Last night, I think they ran more last night, not just like sprints or anything, but ran more in practice than they have in a while, and they were still smiling and saying thank you to me afterwards. So I think they're excited to be pushed out of their comfort zones because they know they can go to new places when they're pushed out of their comfort zones.
Nothing like sprints to get you started. New rules are on the way for college football teams faking injuries. Ole Miss. Starting this fall, if a team's medical staff comes onto the field after the official has already spotted the ball for the next play, that team will be charged a timeout. If the team does not have any timeouts left, then a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed.
Taking shots there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. On 3 did it first.
This week on Reeling with Riley, Riley is trading in his fishing pole for a battery. Take a look.
It's electrofishing season for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. We tagged along for sampling on the Willow Pond at the McDuffie Public Fishing Area.
So obviously, typically, water and electricity are not a mix you ever want to pursue. But with our electric fishing boat, it's a very controlled system. So what we're doing is, out of the front of the boat, we're putting an electrical current out into the water, and it'll go about 10 feet deep, and it stuns the fish. Doesn't kill them. Stuns the fish, and they float up, and we can net them and identify the species. Wrdw sunfish, obviously named for the red border on the ear there.
Each fish has its length and weight measured to help DNR assess the health and quality of the fish population. After the length and weight are written down, it's back to the water.
Bridge especially has a lot of good largemouth and a lot of good shellcrackers again. Bridge also is a little unique. It has some striped bass and hybrids in it as well. So we caught 3 stripers yesterday that were about 6 to 8 pounds.
Georgia DNR samples many other bodies of water around the CSRA, including Clarks Hill Lake and Lake Olmsted.
Lake Olmsted was a very, very impressive sample. Our biggest largemouth was pushing 8 pounds. One of the things that really impressed me the most was the Wrdw sunfish or shellcracker population. We saw, several trophy fish over 10 inches. I think the biggest one we had was about 13 inches.
Clarks Hill was sampled last week, and the results were great. Quality largemouth bass, crappie, and striper were found. Spring is a great time of year to sample a lot of fish with electrofishing.
We do most of our boat electrofishing in the springtime, as most of the species, as they're kind of coming up shallower with warming water temperatures, we can efficiently sample them in the springtime. A little bit different patterning there.
Looks like this more has like.
It's pretty cool. I never knew about electrofishing. I've heard about it. I never really knew how it worked.
Yeah, it's funny because Will was like, isn't that cheating? And it is. It is.
You ratted me out.
Well, it is because, Riley, you were saying, I mean, obviously you have to have a permit to do something like this, and they're doing this for informational purposes.
Yeah, it's just a great way to quickly survey a pond, usually smaller bodies of water, but they do it at Clark's Hill as well, so they're able to survey certain coves, areas across the region, but it's a great way to just survey that population of fish, and once they get enough of a collection of certain species, that can kind of give them a rough estimate of what the rest of the population looks like. So the good news is that most of the fish here around the area are very healthy and looking good.
Yeah, and they're still healthy after this. Like, once the shock is over, for lack of a better to them.
Right. I saw every single fish that went into the boat swim away from the boat. So not a single fish was injured in that process. So again, a really cool way to kind of survey this.
And not for everyone, right, Riley? We don't do that.
No recreational use of electrofishing. You do have to have a permit for that. But hey, if you're heading to the lake over the next couple of days, great weather to get outside. Have another quick look at that 7-day forecast for you just after a short break.
Every day. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,000 off your complete bathroom remodel.
Welcome back, folks. A live look from our downtown Augusta camp over the Calhoun Expressway, Enterprise Mill. A nice afternoon to be outside. If you are heading out this evening, we have temperatures right now in the upper 70s. We'll stay warm in the 70s, at least through around 8 p.m. Once we get later into this evening, early tonight, we should see the 50s as we get closer towards the midnight hour. But nice weather if you are heading out. Heading into tomorrow, we're going to hang on to plenty of sunshine. Just going to be a little bit warmer heading into our Friday. Those high temperatures should be able to reach at least the mid-80s, so about 5 degrees warmer than what we were this afternoon. Not as chilly tomorrow morning. Those low temps will stay closer to 50 degrees, so no need for a big heavy coat if you're going to be up early out there tomorrow. Now, as we continue into our Easter weekend, those temperatures continue to warm up for us. 89 degrees for a high temp by Saturday, 87 by Sunday. The only difference over the next few days is that we'll gradually start to build in a little bit more cloud cover by Sunday, so not going to be a completely sunny Easter for us, but luckily it does look dry for any outdoor plans that you may have out there. Now, as we continue into next week, that's when the storm chances do return. So it doesn't look to be an all-day washout by any means. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just about a 30% chance for maybe a stray afternoon, late evening thunderstorm. You can see as far as our temperatures go, we're going to stay well above average. So no dip in those temps heading our way anytime soon. We're going to stay well above average. Actually, could get close to 90 a few days over the next 7.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The weather. It's something that affects us all every day. From sunny to severe and anything in between. This is why we First Alert.
What's with all the goats? Goat. George's outstanding attorney team?
After you've been injured in a car crash, call George Sink Injury Lawyers and get the GOAT on your side. Hurt? Call all 9s now.